Hey, good evening traders, Mark here, and what a day it has been. The markets are just melting. Whether you're in indexes, whether you're in crypto, individual equities, it's just a sea of red. But today's session is going to be just looking at the crypto market because I've been messaged so many times, what shall I do? Shall I hold? Shall I stick? Shall I sell? Do I buy more? Look, right now, if you are an investor and you are in belief that the coin or the company that you've invested in, the fundamentals haven't changed, then every price reduction that is happening is just a good time for you to average down, providing you've got some cash on the side that that you can invest. If you can't and you're basically just sat in the market, you've got no spare cash sat on the sidelines that you wish to invest or are able to invest, then you have to make that horrible decision, which is, do I cut my losses right now and whatever that may be, and then wait for the market to show a turn, i.e. buyers coming into the market, and then that's your cue to buy back in. The problem is that if you are one of the later investors and you've let the market retrace so much now that you may be 60-70% down on your original investment, and some people I know are even more than that down, then is there any real point in actually selling that and looking at alternative investments? These are personal decisions. I'm not a financial advisor. All I can do is look at the markets and give you educational advice based on what I see technically. And again, that's nothing that you can make investment decisions around. It's how I make my decisions. But what I'm going to say to you is where I think the markets can go to and what we can potentially look and expect for before I'll be looking at buying these markets. So in terms of crypto, remember crypto, the biggest thing about crypto is Bitcoin. Bitcoin holds the largest market cap, therefore it is the most dominant. When you look at market dominance, BTC dominance, then you'll see how much of Bitcoin holds the entire market cap of the crypto market. So just looking at Bitcoin futures, a key area that we've broken right now, which is the 30, it was 30,000 really, but if we look at the weekly chart and we look at the lowest weekly close, you can see the lowest weekly close was back here in July 21, but prior to that we're talking December 2020. So this is a substantial move, and this is something we were looking for, and it's something that I forecasted, that when the market comes through 30,000, we're probably going to see a big flush, and this will be to basically eliminate all leveraged positions and then eliminate any weak investors from the market. Obviously, this isn't just a market maker's play right now. There's inflation that is skyrocketing to 40-year highs. We've got the Fed combating inflation with raising interest rates. Now, all that's going to do is that's going to reduce consumer spending. Consumer spending reducing means that share prices are naturally going to fall because the companies are going to produce less revenue. It's more expensive for them to actually produce manufacture their goods. So it's just a nasty cycle until we finally find a bottom where inflation has peaked and it starts to come back down, and then the Fed or central banks can start to neutralize rates a little bit and stop being so aggressive with pushing rates up. But that's the only sort of tool that they have right now to facilitate inflation. So where do we see Bitcoin? And unfortunately, I only see more pain for crypto at the minute. If we look back to this zone here, with the Bitcoin futures, we've got a gap here between sort of 24,000 and 27,000. So this gap here, this will be filled. The question is, are we going to get a relief rally back up to 32,000 and then we push back down, or is it just going to be a quick blast straight down here? We don't know. But what I can tell you is that I won't be a buyer until we see buyers coming into the market, or until we close this gap, and then I will start adding small positions to Bitcoin. I won't go into altcoins yet. Altcoins will come later. Altcoins, I'll start looking at altcoins when we see transition from a bear market to seeing buyer appetite within Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's take a look at Ethereum right now. Very, very similar chart. Yes, we're on the weekly chart. We broke some key structure here last week at $2,500. Now, if we look at this in terms of confluences and areas that are lining up, I'm just going to bring my drawing tool right now. So we've got this zone here around 1800 down to, let's call it 1700 to 1600, this blue zone here. If we go from the all-time high and measure down to that lowest impulse before we had a retracement up into here, and then we look at our extension. So this is basically a trend continuation looking at the fib extension. So we go from A to B to C, extension. We can see the 61.8 comes in at a lovely confluence through here. So expect to see the market have some kind of pause and buyers come in anywhere between 1800 and 1750. So this is where I'm going to look for basically the appetite for buyer sentiment to come into this marketplace. If we don't see buyers here, then oh, listen, it's going to be very painful for a lot of people. But that's what I'm looking for. I'll start adding some very small positions in and around sort of 1750, 1800, and then looking to see if we can find any sort of market sentiment shift, which will be just watching the market to start giving us some clues that we're going to start pushing higher. So as it stands, market is in sheer bear control. There's no sort of even looking at buying opportunities at the minute. You just want to fade any rally. So if we can get a rally into, let's call it 2500, look for shorts, take it back down into this zone. I don't see any upside on these markets until we start breaking some key levels. And right now the sentiment sure is to the downside. So keep looking for shorting opportunities, even if it is just to hedge your longer term positions. Now let's take a look at a couple of markets. So FTM, this is one of my favorite coins that I've been watching for some time now, but I just cannot believe where this is heading. You know, we did reach highs of around 3.5, and we're sitting now at $0.29. You can see the next support level I've got put in here down at 0.18. Now, if we do get any relief rally, if we can get a relief rally, I doubt we'll come up into the $1 unless we start seeing some serious buying come back in Bitcoin. But if we were to pull back up into this area, as it stands, I would be looking for selling this coin. On the smaller time frames, there's nothing other than shallow corrections, and then looking for further downside. You know, just as we just look at these markets right now, all I'm doing is looking for any sort of counter trend lines, any sort of consolidation zones where we could potentially sell this market. Again, we have another sort of consolidation area here that you can see the market consolidated, then we had an impulse out, a shallow retracement, and then off we go. But you know, if you want to day trade these markets, that's absolutely fine. Then there's opportunities, but it's not something that I will focus on myself personally. I'm more inclined into looking for buying opportunities to hold for the long term. So that's what I'm looking for. So FTM, where can we find those opportunities? And I think 0.18 is a realistic sort of opportunity now to look for a buy limit. Other than that, I really just see more downside. Let's take a look. I mean, Luna, 94% down on the day. You know, this all comes down to obviously the issues with the UST getting unpegged, and they're having to raise capital now. Something went wrong with their software, where the pegging to the UST just unleashed, and I think it went down to 0.68. So instead of it being fixed at 1-to-1, it went down to 0.68. Huge issues there. They need to be resolved. Is this an opportunity to buy? If they can resolve the issue, who knows? I'm not buying this. It doesn't interest me. But obviously this is adding to sort of crypto worries, you know, how systems can break down. Atom, this is very, very close to a superb area that I'm extremely interested in. As you can see, it's already marked out. Looking at around $10, which we have tagged today, but I'd be more inclined to see the market come down, test this $8.50 barrier, especially where this candle, we see this big impulsive candle. I think we might test the lows of this, which is around 7.75. So I'll whack an alert in just here, which will be to look for buying opportunities. But remember, I'm only going to start buying altcoins if I start to see some appetite for Bitcoin and Ethereum, because if there's no appetite for those two markets, there sure as hell isn't going to be any appetite for altcoins. So these really need to be off your radar, and only to be looking at them when you start seeing the appetite in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So get those levels marked out. Ethereum around 1750, we get that level in here, maybe 1700 a push. If the market makers are going to have fun, not only will it test these levels, it'll have a spike through, and you might even find it test this 78.6 down here at 1400. So don't be surprised if that happens. So on that note, guys, I didn't mean to scare the shit out of a lot of you if you are invested heavily in Bitcoin or Ethereum or altcoins. But look, it's part and parcel of this industry. You know, the rallies are usually a hell of a lot bigger than the crashes, but when the crashes do come, they come hard and they come quick. And just use that as buying opportunities if you still believe in the industry, blockchain, whether it's NFTs, you name it. It doesn't matter what it is. If you believe in the industry, you believe what's happening, these are just opportunities to acquire more stock at a better price. But use the technicals to give you an advantage. Rather than sitting through pain, let the market show you when buyers come in that you can then start saying, right, now I'm going to start adding to my portfolio again. So on that note, guys, crypto special over and done with. If you want more crypto charts from us, just comment below. Just say, yeah, fire out some cryptos, and whichever ones you want us to talk about, just comment below. Let us know what cryptos you want to talk about, whether it's stock market, any equities, any commodities. Just hit the comments below. You know, if you like the content, hit the thumbs up, share it with your trader mates, give us questions, and we'll answer those questions for you every day. On that note, guys, it's coming up 11 o'clock here in the UK. It's time for me to get a little bit of beauty sleep. As you can see, it's much needed. So have a great evening, guys, depending where you are in the world. Some of you will be early morning, and we will see you tomorrow with another market update. Good night.